Hey there, welcome back to Science Flixtion. I am Salim Sutterwala, and as always, I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Carl Ames. Carl, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I had having a good week. Um, just enjoying everything. I know there's slowly news coming out about different things. I wanted to get your thoughts on something. I don't know if you saw the movie or not, but Uh, have you seen the Ryan Reynolds movie, the Adam Project?
No, I have not.
It's it's a it's a Netflix movie. Yeah, I watched it. It wasn't anything remarkable. Like the thought of it is okay. Like I mean, I wouldn't recommend watching it. I'll kind of spoil it a little
Go
bit
ahead.
here.
I don't even have Netflix anymore. I've
Yeah, it's
cut
it's about
cut it.
yeah, it's about time travel essentially, and is basically him going back to stop his dad from creating time travel in time.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just like the concept was good, but I don't know, it just kind of boring. It was kind of like, this is not a movie. Like it had its moments, but it's like this is not a movie I would probably rewatch ever again. Like because he goes back in time and ends up meeting his younger self, and he gets help with it from his younger self, and um yeah, it's meh.
So
I
you
didn't
just
care for it.
stick with Detective Pikachu?
Yes, Detective Pikachu is good. I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, I know he can be. Uh, I don't know. For some people, I guess he can be like a acquired taste. I've heard some people that don't like his shtick.
Mm.
So that was kind of news to me, but
Yeah, I thought
um,
everyone loved Deadpool, but I guess not.
yeah. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, we have a fun show today. We're going to be talking about Ms. Marvel, the new trailer that came out for the Disney Plus series that's going to be coming out in June. Before that, we do have some fast flicks, but even before that, I do want to ask the audience that's tuning in if you could please like our video. That way, we can try to get some more views. That would be much appreciated. So, give us a like if you are watching right now. Thank you very much. But yeah, so let's get in some fast flicks here first. So first fast flick, unfortunate news. Um, William Hurt in the MCU, who plays General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross. He passed away at age of 71. That's kind of surprising because I didn't even know he wasn't doing well. Like he was in the most recent thing. I can't remember what he was in. It was not that long ago. It
It
was
was
a
in
recent.
Black Widow.
That's right, Black Widow. He was in there. And yeah, it was unfortunate to find out that he passed away. It was just kind of out of nowhere. What are your thoughts on? It's not good by any means.
Of course,
But
it's an unfortunate thing that occurred. We certainly hope for the best, and have our thoughts and hearts with the friends and family of William Hurt. I don't want to spend like a whole lot of time worrying about what the future of the MCU is going to be, just kind of like Chadwick Boseman. But of course, like we're here to discuss things like that. Um, a lot of rumors were that, because General Ross is in the comics, the Red Hulk,
right,
and of course, like with a whole lot of legal issues and stuff, there hasn't been any Hulk movies since the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton back in 2000. Was it 2008, 2009, something like that? There hasn't been any Hulk solo movies, but there's still the She-Hulk uh, Disney Plus show that's coming, and then there's been hopes for more crossovers stuff with Hulk and you know, uh, who knows, a Thunderbolts team that could have had a Red Hulk in it. That was at least a lot of rumors or possible plans of what the MCU is going to be doing over the course of the next couple of years. Will William Hurt will not be a part of that, clearly. So again, our condolences to the family. We don't know exactly what Marvel's plans are. I don't think they've said anything official other than announcing what happened and their condolences. It's way too early to be hearing about any of that stuff anyway, or worrying about it to any great extent. Once we get a little bit more, just like again, just with Chadwick Boseman, we'll get more information from Marvel, what they plan on doing with the character, with the role, at a later date. So it's not really worth worrying about greatly at the moment. We just have to just be patient and then just again spend more energy on trying to console the friends and family. And of course, William Hurt is not just an MCU actor. He didn't start there. He had plenty of movies over the course of a whole career, many notable um, movies. He made a screen debut in Altered States. He also was in the movie Body Heat, The Big Chill, Kiss of the Spider Woman, Children of a Lesser God, Broadcast News, and A History of Violence, among many other movies and TV shows. So he will be missed, and our condolences go out to him and his family.
Yeah, definitely. And I know another movie here, Lost in Space. He was in
Mm.
way back in the '90s. Uh, he wasn't scheduled to be in the Hulk, the new Hulk, She-Hulk series. So, I mean, I don't know what they had plans for him going forward. That would be interesting because obviously he's not a right now currently a popular uh character within the MCU. So obviously, who knows what they had going on with in that regards. But yeah, that's the main thing. It's just sad to hear about that, and yeah, like you said, condolences to his family, and hopefully they can get through this time where they're without him, you know, as far as his immediate family and extended family concerned and friends as well. So but yeah, that was the first, like I said, fast flake. We did have a couple of others here. Moving into more of the DCEU movie release dates have changed. They had so the first one is the Flash movie. Um, yep, that has been moved from November 4th to 2022 to June 23rd, 2023. It looks like, so I was looking into the reason why it kind of could have been moved, and apparently Ben Affleck potentially could have an expanded role in this movie now. So maybe like the DCEU isn't done with Batfleck just yet. I don't know what they're going to be doing because, like I said, we know the that Michael Keaton's going to be in this movie too, as reprising his Bruce Wayne Batman role. That obviously he was the original Batman, but from the '90s movie. But but yeah, Ben Affleck apparently is going to have an expanded role. They're doing reshoots. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I know it's DCU. We've talked about it, you know, various times as far as what they're doing with the different timelines. As
Mm-hmm.
far as the um, movies, not solo movies, not being really connected to the Justice League movies and all that stuff. So, what are your thoughts on that potential right there?
Yeah, it is quite the delay. Like, that's almost practically a year later, and that I know they shot that like was it at the Super Bowl or just not that long ago? They've been running this ad talking about how DC, movies, DC Comics are gonna have such a big year for 2022 with Black Adam, the Batman, the Flash, and Aquaman, and now they can't run. They have to re-edit that thing because
Mm-hmm.
apparently Flash is not going to come out this year. So, in this next summer, that's like again like the whole almost a whole year of delay.
Right,
That
and
yeah, go ahead.
no, sorry, I would say, and the interesting thing, obviously, too, is because they're doing Flashpoint, so that's obviously Flashpoint is supposed to reset certain things, within the DC universe. That's what Flashpoint usually does when they use Flashpoint, like we've mentioned in the past. So that's another interesting thing. Like, what is if they're shooting more Ben Affleck scenes? What does that mean? Like, are they not going to reset some of the Affleck stuff, Batfleck stuff? That's interesting as well to think about.
Can you imagine that we have like 3 ongoing Batman universes? Like if we have
Right?
Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and Robert Pattinson, just like, yeah, here we got 3 Batman movies dropping in the next 9 months, and then this one's gonna have a sequel, and then there'll be a multiversal Batman. We're gonna get Val Kilmer back and George Clooney, and have all of the Batman and all.
Maybe they'll do the multiverse Bruce Wayne thing.
Yeah.
Just meeting each other, like you're like they'll do the Spider-Man pointing thing.
Right.
I mean,
If they did a multiversal Batman team, who would you want to be out of all of the Batman, actors? Who would you want to be the focal point, like the 616 Peter Parker type of thing? Like, who would you want? Which Batman actor would you want to be the focal point Batman actor?
I'll go.
Like
I'll go
lead in
with
charge.
maybe it is. Like I've said recently, like this new Batman was my favorite. So it'd be kind of cool. I think it'll be good to go with him, especially since he's kind
You
of
want
taking over the
the
reins.
youngest Batman to be the one telling all the old folks to follow me and stuff.
Yeah. He's I mean, not necessarily follow him, but like also learning, because technically Peter isn't. I mean, Tom Holland's Spider-Man he isn't saying follow me. He's kind of also learning from them too. So learning from the older Peter Parkers from the other universes, could be similar. I don't know. It's like I said, it's funny to think about just like what they're doing with so many different Batmans, and they're gonna. I wonder if they're gonna confuse themselves at some point.
Well, yes, it's definitely a oversaturation of Batman. I'm starting to feel.
I mean, I love Batman. I mean, like I said, I'm looking forward to more Robert Pattinson Batman movies. I was kind of disappointed to hear that it was going to be such a long time before they released another one. I was kind of hoping it'd be like in 2 years as opposed to like 4 years. That's what it sounded like. I was like, 4 years, another Matt movie. That's kind of not good. But obviously they have those other stuff going on with the Batman universe with Batgirl and various other things that they're looking to do.
Which, by the way, I think the day after, like last week when we, I didn't put it in Fastflix. I think it's officially confirmed that they are doing a Penguin series for HBO.
Oh, okay.
Max.
Okay,
I think
that's good.
I saw that the day after we did our thing.
That's good. Maybe they can set up. Maybe that kind of sets up in between like the time frame. Maybe Robert Pattinson makes an appearance in that too. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's hard to do because if it's gonna be in between now and like with him taking over as a new mob, like the lead or like in the place of Carmine Falcone, I would imagine it's present time, so Batman is around, obviously. So it'll be interesting if he appears in that series with HBO in the HBO Max series. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that as far as the reshoot and then pushing the timeline time of Flash further down. And more changes in time slots as far as movie releases for DCEU. So Black Adam got pushed from July release to October 21st, 2022. Now, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, tweeted about it because I guess the Super Pets, originally it was going to come out on July 29th. Now, Super Pets is going to be released on July 29th. I don't know if that's going to be related to canon to anything to DCEU. I don't.
Isn't it animated?
It is animated, but like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I don't know. We have MCU with their animations. They have some stuff that's connected, but I like with What If.
Hmm.
But I don't know if Super Pets has anything to do with the rest of the DCEU stuff. But now Black Adam has been pushed to October, uh, which is interesting. I don't, and then in kind of relation to it, um, Shazam 2, it's actually, and it's officially going to be called Fury of the Gods. It was has a new release date, so it was previously slated to come out in 2023. Now they moved that up to the end of this year, December 16, 2022. So you kind of there's like a picture of them. Although if you want to pop that up really quick, so, yeah. So you see all of them in the Shazam family, their costumes, and their powers with with obviously with Billy Batson. So they're moving that up now. It'll be interesting to see if The Rock appears, if Black Adam somehow appears in this, because it says Fury of the Gods. So you wonder if that's something to do with like there's going to be finally a clash somehow, or if he's going to appear somehow. I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't really know what the plot is of Shazam 2. I haven't really been able to follow that. I know the way they ended the first Shazam with when we talked about in Peacemaker, when I was kind of curious about the little caterpillar guy reappearing in it was like
Okay,
a
yeah.
post credit scene, reappearing in the first movie's villain's jail cell, talking to him about like different multiverses, or there's so much more that you don't know. And then they had hinted a multiverse in Shazam. Like, if you did you I can't remember, did you watch Shazam?
I have not. I don't care. You
And
can talk about it.
okay, so in that movie, when they're in like the place that Shazam meets the wizard that gives him his powers, um, I think it's a wizard. I can't remember, but Shazam is his name. Obviously, that's why Shazam. That's why his name is Shazam, because the guys who transfers the powers to him is Shazam as well. So when they go back in there, there's like a multiverse of doors like you can open, and there shows that as well. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's going to be somehow in here, and the little worm guy. I don't know a lot about the comic book, so like um, I'm just curious to see what they're going to do with the part two. Um, because the family does appear in part one, end of part
Hmm.
one. They help him defeat the main villain. When because he can obviously through the staff he can give the powers to his adopted family. Like the little kids are his adopted family, and they can get his powers, and they become um like Shazam powerful as well. So it's interesting. I know it's like we'll see what happens. Like it's peculiar that they moved it up. Uh, normally when you see like date changes, it's like, oh, we're pushing it, right? I can't remember a movie ever being like, oh, we're gonna release it like months ahead of plan before we did. Maybe his relation to, because like with Black Adam came out in October, it's gonna be so fresh in people's minds that maybe The Rock is supposed to be secretly they shot some scenes without letting people know
Hmm.
that he's gonna be in, maybe not like in the entire movie, but somehow being teased in there somewhere, like he appears at like post credit scene, or like the at very ending or something. Like I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know how excited you are about these movies, but like I said, I'm always gonna watch every comic book movie that ever comes out.
Yeah, it just puts pressure on me to actually watch it before the end of the year. Watch the first movie, which I can do literally at any point for like the last. I don't even remember when this movie came out, but I bought it at least a year ago, maybe more. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, check it out. It's a fun. I thought Shazam was a lot better than like all the other stuff that DC was doing around that time. It was a fun movie. I thought it was really good. It was fun. It was a good movie. I would recommend watching it. But yeah, let's get into our main topic here. It's going to be Ms. Marvel. So the trailer that get released. For those who haven't watched the trailer yet, we'll go ahead and play it right now so you can kind of get a glimpse of it.
Okay, so first off, I just want to say, I get it.
You get what?
High school.
Kamala.
Another adventure shirt. Cute.
She thinks I'm some kind of weirdo.
You were a weirdo.
Boys.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
You're kind of on my shirt.
Sorry.
But you're staring out the window in your little fantasy land. Kamala, hey, already? Really? Come on, like...
Do I have to figure out my whole future before lunch, or is there like... Maybe they're right. I spend too much time in Fantasyland.
That is not you.
It's not really the brown girls from Jersey City who save the world. That's a fantasy too.
Did something happen to you?
No, why? Did you hear something?
Kamala? What does it feel like?
Cosmic. I always thought I wanted this kind of life, but I never imagined any of this.
Do you even know what you are?
I'm a superhero.
I love that song. I can listen to that song like all day. It's like a nice 80s like feel, right? It's like gives you like kind of like Flock of Seagulls or something like that. But yeah, that's fun. And a question I wanted to ask you, like, does the actress Iman kind of her mannerisms kind of feel similar to like Haley Steinfeld, right? Oh, Carl, I can't hear you. You're muted or having some technical issues. Sorry about that. I don't know if you got muted by accident there or if we just... But I was saying like I felt like she kind of like had that same feel where Haley Steinfeld, obviously from the Hawkeye, the way she was acting in those in that Hawkeye series, it kind of felt similar. So I don't know if that was kind of like like they purposely pick somebody to have that, because obviously they're going to eventually be doing the Young Avengers, so maybe that's going to be a relation to them. Still can't hear you. It's really weird. I don't know what's going on. Why? Maybe exit out and get back into the studio. Maybe that will do it. But yeah, that was. We'll wait for Carl to get back with us. The other thing I wanted to mention with the show, it's interesting that they have releasing this before She-Hulk, because She-Hulk was going to be mentioned to come out. The trailer was supposed to mention that they were going to release that in before this trailer, and that show was supposed to originally come out before Ms. Marvel, but something happened. I don't know if something happened in production or what happened. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah. Oh, you're back. I hear you. That's weird.
When right before we went to the trailer, I have two monitors. Both monitors actually went out.
Oh,
and then the one on the right here never came back on. So something glitched up, and then I just had to change the settings to something else. But yeah, at least it's working.
Yeah. No. First, before I was just kind of talking about how this is coming out before She-Hulk, because originally I think She-Hulk, they were supposed to release that around in the summer, but they obviously pushed that later. to end of the year somehow. They had, I don't know if they had to reshoot or what, but yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts. Like, I felt like she has a lot of the same mannerism as Steinfeld that did in the Hawkeye, like kind of like that same like little kid, kind of like not sure of herself in that same way, kind of like it seems very like familiar.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that, and we have to keep in mind that. Well, I don't know how old this actress is. I think Haley
She's in high
Steinfeld is
school. Yeah, Haley.
the
She's
actual
like 21,
the actual
22.
actress in high school, or the. I'm not talking
Oh
about the
yeah, I
character.
don't. Oh, the
Yeah.
character. So the actress. Yeah, I don't know how old she is. I haven't looked at that. But obviously,
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel is in high school.
Right, and then I don't. Not even thinking about it. I don't even know what Kate Bishop is probably in college, right? Like a
Yeah, she's like
first or
22
second year.
maybe.
But in general, they're probably close to the same age. Regardless, the characters themselves are very young, and even the similarities of idolizing the Avengers, like Haley Steinfeld loves the Avengers in particular. She loves Hawkeye and follows his career and tries to mimic him. Whereas Kamala, she also loves the Avengers and she idolizes Captain Marvel. You see her wearing various versions of Captain Marvel's costume in the trailer, in the comics. She even adopted like the original Miss Marvel costume that's black and gold, and then eventually she tries to wear like the Captain Marvel costume again in the comics. She has, although if you have that picture of her with the costume on, there you go. Yeah, so she's wearing like she legitimately loves Captain Marvel. So she is like the biggest fangirl of Captain Marvel. She even writes, like, at least in the comic version, which we do see a little bit something like that in here, but she likes to write basically fan fiction for the Avengers. So there's also the picture of her with the little doodles. And I know you had some thoughts on that, right? About Ant-Man.
Yeah. So it's interesting that so they have Ant-Man here, like her idolizing probably Ant-Man as well, being like obsessed. Like we talked about the Avengers, she's obsessed with. In the comics, it's interesting because she's obsessed with Wolverine. Now, eventually, Wolverine will be part of the MCU, and he might be around somewhere. We don't know yet because he hasn't been introduced yet. So, and obviously, they can't have her being obsessed with someone that we haven't introduced. So, they're probably going to have her being kind of throwing a nod to Ant-Man instead of like Wolverine, obviously. So that was just interesting. A little tidbit that I noticed that when she was doodling Ant-Man, a little ant there, him talking to a little ant, or directing an ant or whatever he's doing there in her doodle. But yeah, that was something that I had noticed. I know now with her powers, it's going to be a little different. It'll be interesting to see what they do there, because in the comics, her powers are different than what they're doing here. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so they are definitely changing some things and most likely have to do a lot of changes. So some stuff is still speculation, but it's kind of like a educated hypothesis, I would say, that she's not going to be an Inhuman in this show. And what I mean by that is that in the comic books, she is an Inhuman. An Inhuman is a try to keep it brief here. They are related to Eternals and they're kind of like, I don't want to say mutants like Eternals or like the mutants, but they get their powers from this what's it called, the Terrigen crystals, right?
Yeah.
They are basically like a small group of experimented on I want to say humans, or I can't remember if they're part deviants or something like that, but they are similar enough to mutants but not quite mutants, right? But they get their powers from the Terrigen crystal. That's how they activate, and they're very related to the Kree. So I think the Kree, the alien race Kree, which we have seen the Kree, they are in the Captain Marvel movie. If you don't remember any of that, that's how Captain Marvel is like related to what's his name? What was the guy's name in Captain Marvel? The head guy,
Oh,
the not
Marvel.
Marvel, because that was a woman. They changed Marvel to
Oh
the
yeah, no,
woman. No, I'm talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
the actual leader that she beat up at the end.
Oh yeah. Is it? Hold on, Harvell or
No, it wasn't Marvel. Marvel because they
no, no,
changed
no,
Marvel to
no.
the woman.
I said was it Harvell or something like that? I don't know. Hold on, let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah. But anyway, like the Kree is basically where Captain Marvel and all of the like the Kree fleets, all of the ones in green that came out, and then the Skrulls are the ones with the weird alien green faces that transforms into other people. So that's not really related here. Anyway, Kamala is an Inhuman in the comics. They have not had any Inhumans whatsoever in the MCU as of this date. We may see Black Bolt, who is like the king of the Inhumans. He might make an appearance as like a variant in Doctor Strange, but for what it's worth, there hasn't been any Inhumans in the MCU yet. So that's where her powers come from in the comics. In this trailer, she has these bracelets that seem to be the source of her power,
Mm-hmm.
and so that would suggest that she's probably not an Inhuman going forward, at least at the moment. Um, in this MCU version of her. Now we have like there's other parts of this trailer where you can see her eyes are glowing. It's very similar to how
Yeah, I
Captain
was saying
Marvel and Monica Rambeau's powers, because
right,
they're all related, right?
right.
Go ahead.
So, like I was saying, that was like similar to that, and I'm wondering because she's gonna be supposedly in the Captain Marvel movie, so maybe there's some relation there. That's why they had her powers changed to that, and um, I also wonder if the reason they changed her powers. So now the bracelet she's wearing, like I don't know if that's necessarily gonna be her powers or if that's gonna be something she uses to kind of control her powers because maybe her powers are so like really strong that it's hard for her to like not just like completely truly hurt people. So I'm wondering if that's going to be more so like if it actually like you said maybe it's her powers the bracelets gets where she gets her powers or maybe it's something she uses like I said to kind of give herself more self-control to not go completely like blast people the way that Captain Marvel can completely blast people in a sense. But yeah, I thought that could be interesting. That what they potentially could do. And the other reason I was saying, so obviously in the comics, her we'll get to a little bit. Her powers are very similar um, to that of Reed Richards. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering if they're kind of switching that up. And you can explain her powers further,
Mm-hmm.
but I wonder if that's why they switched that because obviously Fantastic Four are going to be appearing soon, so maybe they didn't want that the same kind of power as him.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like with the Fantastic Four movie coming out relatively soon, the comic book version of Kamala's powers are almost indistinguishable from Mr. Fantastic in any way, because they basically can stretch their arms and make their legs and feet and hands bigger, and that's about the gist of it. I think can she make herself smaller? Okay, I have her powers right here anyway. In the comics, she has elongation, can extend her limbs, torso, neck to great distances, size alteration, adjust her height and stature upon adding upon her impressive physical abilities, shrinking to the size of an action figure or as tall as a building. She has accelerated healing factor, and she can alter her appearance. And then there's also genetics, excuse me. Her cells manifest mutable properties due to the fact that she's able to share mass through time and different versions of herself. So I believe like that is basically she can make herself bigger by using a future version of herself is how that's kind of explained. that's still kind of like into the getting bigger and stretchy stuff. So I mean, there's a little bit of extra stuff than Mr. Fantastic, but you don't want them to look exactly the same and do the exact same thing. So that's part of the trailer where you see her forming a big fist
Yeah,
and
that's a
making,
nod.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's her using her powers, but it's not her using a stretchy power, right? So it's not like she's going to, uh, you know, to a way to make her look visually different from Mr. Fantastic, but still being the character. Like she gets big fists. She has a big
Right,
fist, but it's not her fists. It's not her stretched out arms. They're gonna
right,
save that for Mr. Fantastic. And then like the color coding, as we were mentioning, like with her eyes, is very similar visually to Captain Marvel. And that's again to kind of keep her in that lane of she is idolizing Captain Marvel. She's taking the name Miss Marvel, like Captain Marvel, like that's
hmm
all purposeful. So we're keeping all of the visuals, the audio, the name sakes all in the same realm so that they can all relate to each other very easily.
right, right. And there was a couple of things I wanted to get your thoughts on. So the first scene here, you kind of see like her like going through kind of like a, I don't know if it's like a multiverse type of thing she's going through. She's like phasing through something. And that's just like the scene there. And I was wondering, like, could could it be related to like a Doctor Strange Wanda somehow, where she's going through? She has a maybe her powers in here. She can kind of do that too, kind of go through the multiverse. What are your thoughts on this scene right there? For first off, did you get that feeling too? Like she was kind of doing like maybe I don't know if it's like a maybe a dream. Maybe it could be a dream sequence, but like I thought maybe it was similar to like because especially with like the purple in in Spider-Man No Way Home, like when the multiverse was splitting apart, it was like that purple glow. But obviously her powers are that as well. So I didn't know maybe that was relation to like a multiverse type of thing.
I don't believe that. I think this is at like I don't know if it's a prom or homecoming or something like that, but she's at some get together with like a bunch of her classmates, and I believe that she's got the costume on. Maybe it's a Halloween party, and that she accidentally uses her powers here, or maybe it's like the first time that she manifests them or something like that, and she blacks out or is just kind of like mesmerized in the moment. But I don't really think that it's anything to do with the multiverse, personally.
All right, that'd be interesting. Like I said, I thought like it looks similar. The other one I wanted to get your thoughts on. There was like they showed like a scene where there was four people standing in a fog. You don't really see who they are. Um, I know. I was wondering maybe could they be child superheroes, other child superheroes, or is it? I know there was like a rumor that circulated that a brand new entity dubbed Nice will be villains in the show. So
Mhm.
maybe that's kind of related to them as well. Who do you think this could potentially be?
So, from what I've heard and seen, I believe the nice enemies are actually the guys. Um, I believe they appear before this in the trailer. They have
Hmm.
all the guns and stuff. Like they're basically more like government sort of things because it's supposed to be like a play on ICE, like
Sure.
immigration and sort of thing. So I believe that this is just like they're the MC version of the ICE instead of actual ice. As far as these guys, the rumor now, or at least what's being spread, that this might be a group called clandestine, like clandestiny or clandestine,
Okay.
something like that. I don't know much about them in particular, but that's all I really got. Because there's like a guy. Dude, I think you took a screenshot of it, or maybe I did. No, it's a different scene. Um, the actually no, the last picture, Aldo, with the she's like putting up a force field. Yeah, those guys back there with the guns.
Yeah.
That would be nice back there.
So
Um,
maybe they go after superhuman entities, like That's what their like group does, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. And then again, like she is Pakistani, so I don't know like how they're gonna fully do her story, but maybe it does have something to do with immigration. It could be
No,
human. It could be.
she's from New Jersey.
Yeah, she's from New Jersey, but she's a Pakistani American.
Correct, but
Right.
she's not from Pakistan. She was born here.
Right, right. I don't know how they're going to do the MCU version, is what I'm saying. But she lives in Jersey City. As far as that goes, what they're going to do, we don't know. There is also a scene which I didn't get a screen grab. There's another character where she manifests the fist and she like throws it, and it's kind of like the door. Like you have the other picture, Aldo, that right before this with the door. Yeah, so it's not this scene, but there's another scene where she's like throwing the fist just like she does here to close the door. She's attacking this guy, and he's got like a scarf over his face. I believe his name's supposed to be Red Dagger. I could be wrong on that. And so it might have something to do with the clandestine. I don't think he's actually a part of that group, but maybe like working for them, kind of like Judo Master was working for the butterflies,
Right.
So it could be a similar situation like that. But again, very early on, and I've actually over the course of maybe the last 3 or 4 years have been buying Miss Marvel comic books because I didn't buy them when they came out. I was actually, because I'm a huge Captain Marvel Carol Danvers fan. I've been since like for 20 years. So when they announced her, because she came out a couple like 10 years ago, Miss Marvel, I was like super jaded. I did not want to read, and then because like she took her names, like you took Carol's name. I hate you. Why would you do? Yeah. So I was super jaded, and I didn't read. But I heard how good the comic actually was for over the course of a couple of years. So I went back and bought a bunch of stuff. I still haven't read them though, so I haven't read everything. I don't have all of it collected, so I don't know a whole lot of deep cuts of comic book knowledge of her. I've only more experienced her through games and her crossover appearances in like Civil War 2 and other like Miles Morales. She crossed over with him because they were like really good friends and stuff. But yeah, so I don't know exactly like her rogues gallery or who she fights, but this is still very good setup for what we're going to get for Young Avengers, most likely. Like we said, with Kate Bishop and every other very young character that we're going to be seeing over the course of the next couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting. Like, I'll kind of wrap it up here, but I'm excited. I'm intrigued by the show. Like, I was surprised that it was coming out so quick, and that's what I was saying like before, when you had to log off really quick here. I was expecting She-Hulk to come out this summer. Obviously, Moon Knight is coming out at the end of this month, and then I thought after that it was going to be She-Hulk, but obviously they had changed things up, and I wasn't expecting like this. This trailer kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, there's a Ms. Marvel trailer. Like, what's going on? Because like I said, the rumors were that there was going to drop a She-Hulk trailer, and they were potentially going to have that coming out, but then they had a whole change of slots. I don't know what the purpose was. I don't know if they had to reshoot scenes, but yeah, I'm intrigued by the show. It should be fun, and I'm excited. Obviously, South Indian culture. There's going to be a lot of representation of that in here. I'm excited to see what they do with that. I know her South Indian, her Pakistani heritage is a big factor into who she is as a superhero, and her parents are like very in the comics at least they are encouraging of her kind of being being related like closer heritage and to influence her as a superhero in her heritage as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about that. Like MCU's done a pretty good job of when they're bringing in like the different ethnicities, and they try to add that part of the characters. We saw a little bit of it like in Spider-Man No Way Home with Ned. his Filipino side, right? So like with him communicating with his was it Lola? I can't remember
I can't
how you
remember.
pronounce
Yeah.
what. So my apologies if I'm saying that incorrectly, but
Isn't it the movie available on digital now? If you want to
it is.
purchase
It is. Yeah, it's available now, so definitely check that out if you haven't. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Like, are you pretty excited about this show?
Yeah, I'm looking it up because I couldn't remember exactly when it's dropping, and its first episode is supposed to hit June 8th, which is if we like try to do the time here, Moon Knight's coming out at the end of this month, I think the 30th. So that's like 2+ months between shows. I mean, obviously there'll be shows of Moon Knight, but I would think Moon Knight will probably end sometime middle of May. Um, who knows? Maybe it'll be a week or two in between each show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if we're going to do a projection, because as far as we know, let's see, I think they're still casting on Echo, so they
Right.
probably the next thing would be She-Hulk after Kamala. So we could be seeing She-Hulk like in August or September of this year if we want to project anything out that way. As far as all the shows though, I'm interested in this show. I'm not a huge fan of the character, as if I was, I would have been reading those comics. Of course, I'll be watching this, but I am still more interested in She-Hulk, and then whatever they do, like because they still have like what else? There's the War Machine show and the Secret Invasion show with Nick Fury. Those are still like looming, and then of course the movies with Thor and let's see. Oh, that was another interesting thing about this too, because the Marvels, the next Captain Marvel movie was supposed to come out originally in November of this year, but then with all of the slides of the schedule for Marvel, Black Panther has a spot for November, and the Marvels is shifted into next year. So we probably won't see this crossover between Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel until sometime a year from now. So it could be like another release for International like Women's Day or Women's History Month or something like that, like what they did before.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, like I said, with the shows coming out, and then obviously Moon Knight is the next big one, which I'm excited for, because obviously that looks like I guess there was a UK release, and people were saying it like the show, like the first 4 episodes are bonkers. So I'm intrigued by that. I think this is definitely gonna be like, I think Moon Knight probably might be like Marvel's best show coming up, but we'll see what they do. But yeah, that's a wrap for today's episode. Obviously, please tune in to our previous shows that we've done. We've done so many movies, sci-fi related, comic book related, DCU, MCU, in general, like I said, sci-fi related movies. You can obviously watch it on YouTube, or even just download the audio on all the podcast platforms that exist. And then obviously tune into all the other great shows on Barroom Network that covers the Chicago sports atmosphere. A lot of great Bears content. I know there's a lot of crazy things happening with the Bears in the last like 2-3 months. A lot of free agency stuff happening right now. The draft is coming up. I know Draft on Tap, they do a great deep dive into the draft. To kind of get familiarized with the different prospects they will be doing. So check everything out. Obviously, again, like I said, please give us a like so we can try to get more views here. But yeah, for Carl, Ames, and myself, we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Have a good evening, guys.